We are now working on lesson 11, which is working with multiple sheets. I got the computer all set up ahead of time. I'm assuming by this point you know how to do it. So the way it works is Google Sheets, you have all these different, you have them tabs, you have these tabs at the bottom. They're called sheets. And in Excel, they're called, I think they call them tabs in Excel. But at any rate, you can click between them and you can see that you can have different things on them. So the sheet 1 has nothing in it. February has some data in it. March has some data, and you can arrow through. You can scroll to see if there are any more. But we're going to go through the directions. So we already had, I copied the file. So now it wants us to delete the sheet titled Sheet 1. So Sheet 1, as we know, we clicked on it. There was no data on it anyway. So we can right-click on it, and we can just click the delete button and get rid of that sheet. And it's going to say, hey, are you sure? Yes, I am sure. So I click OK, and that sheet is gone. So now it wants us to duplicate the January sheet and rename it to May. So to duplicate, it's the same idea. We're going to right-click on it, and there's a duplicate option. I'm going to click on that. And do you see it's called Copy of January? So it wants us to rename it. So we're going to right-click again. I'm going to click on this arrow just to see what this one does. Oh, so I don't even need to right-click. Do you see the little arrows to the side? So I can click on those, and I'm going to rename this one, and it's going to say May. So the joy about doing the copy, just so you can see, the format is the same, all of the information is the same. I often do this when I'm creating class lists. If I want to do certain activities and I have the structure set up, I just duplicate it and then I paste in the names. So this is something that a lot of people do for business. I do it as a teacher. It's very handy to be able to do. So now that's May. Okay, now it wants us to move the sheet we just renamed to the right of the April sheet. So I'm going to actually make this bigger now. I knew it was going to be a problem eventually. So that way, before, did you see I had to scroll to the side, but now I can see all my tabs. So it wants us to go in month order. So January, so we want February next, March, April, and so May is the last one. So we've done that. Let's go back to the challenge sheet. And so we've moved it. Now it wants us to create a new sheet and rename it June. So we're going to go back here. And there's a few different ways. Do you see the plus down the bottom here? It says to add sheet. The other option, I think, if we do an insert, does it let us do an insert a sheet? Yes, insert new sheet. So there's two different ways to do it. So I'm going to click there, and the new sheet, I put it in the back, and it wants us to name it June. So I'm going to click on that arrow, and I'm going to click on rename, and I'm going to type June. Some of you that are very coordinated, so we all know that I'm not, if you tap just right, sometimes you can get you can rename it. There we go. I double clicked and you can rename it that way as well. So we'll go back to our directions. Open May. Okay, open the May sheet. When you're finished, your spreadsheet should look something like this. So they're opened in the May. So my sheet looks just like that. I didn't open May yet, so let's open May. Oh, I do have May opened. Okay, so mine looks exactly like that. So I am now done with lesson 11.